This example demonstrates how to use the sort command, same XML file again. We have a similar .xsl file in the sense that all of our header information will be more or less the same. We're going to have our table that we're going to build, a for each command that has to be open and closed, same XPath that we're going to be working on this Wonder node level. And here we're going to actually do a sort. Now we looked at a sort just briefly in the presentation where you, with a sort, we're going to select height because remember all the children of Wonder, we have access to them because of this XPath expression. So I'm going to go to height and select that. And then I'm going to decide the order of how this information is going to be displayed. It's going to be displayed in a descending order, and it's going to be by number. So height, good chance it's going to be a number, right? So we're going to do that by number. Sort is just closed out right here. It's just a command that's just a one-line command, more or less, and it's closed out right there. There's nothing inside of it. And it usually comes right after your for each. You're going to have a table row, table data cell strong, value of select. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do name, ampersand for language to get the attribute, and then we're going to get whatever the attribute name has been set equal to. In this case, is it equal to English? And that's going to be bolded. And then we're going to do our if, so our if test. Is name, the attribute that's inside a name, language, is it not equal to English? If that's true, we're going to print that out right here using our value of select command. And then we're done. We're going to do a new table data cell, and we're going to do the value of location. No big deal, we've seen that before. And then we're actually going to do a choose command. And this is sort of our either or, so we're going to learn about our if statement, but also, our sort statement, but we're also going to get to see choose as well, or otherwise. So this is kind of our if-then in kind of generic programmer speak. If it's this, do this. If not, do something else. So here we have our choose, and it's always wrapped up inside, it wraps the conditional statement, if you will, and an opening and a closing choose command. We have XSL when test height is not equal to 0. So is the height not equal to 0? So we want something with some kind of height. If that's true, that it's not equal to 0, if the case is true, print out height. Otherwise, you're just going to print out unknown. So if it's not equal to 0, you're actually going to get a height. If it's not, we don't know what the height is. It may be nothing, it may be something that has no height, or we just don't know, and so we print unknown. And then we close out, this is your otherwise, sort of your catch statement, and then choose is closed out, the table data cell is closed out, and the row and the whole for each statement is closed out. So this is going to go through, again, the entire XML file. Remember, we're looping, so it's going to go through each one of the wonders and look and see what of these cases are true and not true, and what are the things that result from that of each one of those sort of if-then statements. So let's run this. Remember, we run it from your .xml file, run, and we're going to launch it in IE and just see what happens here. So a lot of the same stuff we saw before, that we had our remember our if command that finds out is there actually an attribute set to English or not English. Up here it sees is it English, printed out. If it's not English, is there actually an attribute there that's something else other than English? If the attribute is there and it's not equal to English, print something out and it'll be inside these parentheses. If it's not true, if the case is not true, then it does nothing. And so we saw that this first one, there is nothing there. If we look, we have to back up here. Remember, we had a sort, so now things are sort in numerical order, so I forgot to point that out. So when I went to the XML file, if you saw here, look what's not first is the Great Pyramid of Giza. That's down here somewhere. It's the second one. So let's look at sort real quick. Things got sorted, and then we'll go back and look at some of the stuff we've already talked about. It got sorted by height, so it gathered up all the wonder records, if you will, and figured out which one was the highest and to the lowest. And so, of course, the one that was 0 or had no value is at the bottom, but the Great Pyramid of Giza is at the top because we did it from descending order. Remember I said descending is like 10, 9, 8, 7. Whatever the biggest number is, it goes down from there. And that's done with this sort command right here. And basically what that does is it goes through and finds all the height nodes and just basically sorts the entire node set by height, and then everything else is done from there. So it went and found what was the highest one based on this number, or excuse me, based on the value of height, what was the highest one, because we're doing in descending, and it went and found it, and it looked right here, and here's the highest one, and then sorted them from there. Once the sort is done, then that's when it loops through. So long story short, that's why I went, and when I found this, I went to look in the XML document what was the first one, and it wasn't there. It's because it had already been sorted by height. So we'd already looked at that. If there is a attribute that has another name, it prints it out. If not, it does not. So it looks a lot neater. Here this does have Greek, so it printed it out. There's Greek here. Hanging Gardens of Babylon have no Greek, nor do they have any, there's no height value there. So this is not only the choose statement that we got to see here, the when and otherwise that goes inside the choose statement, but we also got to see how to use sort.